Don't get so caught up trying to build the life that you want for yourself that you forget to live the one that you have. Introduce yourself. Who are you and what do you do? Hello, guys. My name is Haider Kayamali, and I am a college student. I go to UT Austin, and I started a page called Human Archive. Basically, what I do is I just interview people about their life. I ask them a question that leads to some type of story in their life, whether it's something that they learned, something funny, someone that impacted them. And from that, I have also been able to start in-person events. So I just get people together and we just have like a good time, community time. Talk to me about Human Archive. How did the idea to start interviewing people come to you? So last year I had went to Japan with my friends before we started college. Right after we graduated high school, we were just like, let's go and travel the world. And one thing that I heard was like a lot of people would say like the people in Japan don't really like to be bothered. It's just better off if you don't disturb anyone. But the people at my hostel, like I would talk to them about stuff and they would just tell me some of their life stories. And I thought it was really cool that people just had all these stories and I got to learn them by just asking them a simple question. And from that, I was like, what if I do this as like a way to kind of share it online? Because I had always wanted to make content, but I just didn't know what. So then when I came to college, when I came to Austin, I was struggling trying to figure out what I want to do in college because I didn't get into the business school. So I just had a lot of time on my hands. So with that, I put the two into one or the two and two together. I was just like, I have time. There's something I like to do. Let me just try. And Austin's a great place because there's a lot of people here. So I started doing that, and that's just how it came along. And I have met so many cool people from it. What are you searching for through these conversations? Through these conversations. It's a great question. I guess in a way, one thing that I'm kind of looking for is just one thing I've realized is that the more people you talk to, the more stories you hear, it kind of just helps you like elevate your idea of life a lot faster. So I guess like I'm like searching for what people have gone through, what people have realized, and like kind of apply it to not only myself but also help other people realize it. For example, if somebody has gone through college and they were also lost, and I interview them about that, I'm kind of searching for the wisdom that they had, and I'm able to use it. So, I guess the after having a bunch of conversations with people, you kind of take a little bit away from everyone that you've talked to, and it helps your personality kind of grow. Like you grow as a person through each of the conversation you have, and I'm sure you probably felt the same exact way. Like you carry a little bit of each person, whether that's their wisdom, their regrets, the pain that they might have, or something that they learned. So I guess what I'm searching for is like, what can I take away from the conversation and use it and apply it in my life? That was a great question because I've never really thought about what am I searching for with these conversations? You know, I kind of just do them because I like to talk to people, but what can I actually take away? What is your mission? I guess when a lot of people ask me, like, why am I doing this? What's like the big goal? I kind of just have always been somebody that wants to make an impact. Um, And one thing I realized is that everyone's really scared of AI taking over, but what they don't realize is we still have each other and nothing can really break that. So if I can host events where people come together after a long week, if I can interview somebody and they feel heard doing that, then I can have a positive impact on the world. And I guess my goal is to just make people feel heard and leave like a positive impact on the world, I guess. That's my mission. What has interviewing people taught you about others? Biggest thing, and I've interviewed a few successful people, and I'd say that nobody really knows what they're doing. They're kind of just living life. And it's just taught me that it's okay to not be okay because a lot of the stories that people talk about are usually in their bad times when something was going wrong. But the reason why that story is so powerful is because on the other side, something good came out of it. A lot of the lessons that we learn are when we were going through something very hard. And the only reason why it's so impactful is because on the other side, something good came out of it. So I was in a rut like recently, and I was thinking of like a video to make to get back. I just had no idea what to do. I didn't film this, but I kind of journaled it down. I was like, if there's one thing that interviewing people has taught me, it's that it's okay to not be okay. Just don't let it drag you down. So Yeah, just nobody really knows what they're doing. The only way to really live life is just to live it. All the experiences that come your way are a part of it, whether it's something bad, something good. There's no such thing as bad or good. It's kind of just it's just your whole life, you know. So it's helped me kind of embrace everything that I go through, because I see other people that have, and something good usually comes out on the other side of it. What has it taught you about yourself? So from interviewing people, I think it's taught me that one, that I think I can have a conversation with anyone about anything, um, that I can hold a pretty good conversation, which kind of sucks because I got denied from communication school this semester. So I'm undeclared and I didn't get into communications, which I don't know how. But I think it's also just taught me, I wouldn't say I learned this from doing an interview with anyone, but I'd just say I've learned this from doing, which is that it's okay to try. No matter what it is that you want to do, just go ahead and try. And if you have a good why backing you, then it'll make you feel happy. And if you're happy, I feel like success is bound to come. Because when you like, the only way to really be successful, I feel like, is if you're just happy. Because J. Cole has this line in his music where it's like, what's money without happiness? You know? Is there a conversation or something someone told you that has changed the way you live or see the world? I'll talk about the second part first. Something someone told you that has changed the way you live. When I was going through that rut earlier this year, it was pretty bad around May when school had ended. I had my brother's wedding going on, and a lot of great things were going on. My sister had a kid, she was my first niece. There was just a lot of good family things going on. But in the back of my mind, I was just like, I need to do more. I need to be back doing content. I wasn't able to really be present. And I felt kind of bad that all these great things are going on in the world, but I'm not able to fully be there. And this one creator, Haro Bonus, um, I loved his interview, but I also got pretty close to him, and he told me that I texted him that I was going through that, because he's also somebody that's super close to his family and travels a lot, has a lot of stuff on his plate. And I asked him, like, what would you like? Was there anything that you would say helped you throughout that time? And he left me with this one thing. He made a video on it and said that don't get so caught up trying to build the life that you want for yourself that you forget to live the one that you have. And that has just kind of stuck with me because I think everyone wants, there's like a perfect life that everyone wants, right? With the success, with the things that they're working on. There's always more. But what's the point if we can't enjoy the life that we have right now, right? What's the point of me working so hard if I can't enjoy that my niece was just born and it's my brother's wedding, you know? So it just kind of taught me to be fully where my feet are, just be present there. And he also said you'll have plenty of time to work on your future in the future. Not to say that you shouldn't actively be working on what it is that you want, but just enjoy those small moments. And I was really struggling with that, and to hear it from someone like him helped a lot. But a conversation, the one conversation that I kind of like think of, and there was nothing really crazy in this conversation. Like the person didn't say anything that changed my life or anything. But I think that's what made it so good is that it was so simple. I asked him what's a childhood memory that still makes him happy. And he talked about how when he was younger, he would go on road trips with his grandma and they would always stop at Krispy Kreme. And there was just something about that that a lot of my interviews have always had some type of good message, something deep behind it. But that one was just so simple. It was just a simple memory that makes him happy and he lives by it. And I think the way that it kind of changed me and the way I live is that it just reminds me that something so small, like the little things matter. And in the future, those are probably the things that we're going to look back on. So it just taught me to embrace those, you know, the little walks to college campus, the time that I have with my family, like those little moments at dinner is what I'm going to remember. So that conversation was amazing. And that video did great too, because I'm sure a lot of other people liked just how authentic it was. You also host events. Why does creating connection and community matter so much to you? When I first started college last year, a lot of people told me that it will take a little bit of time to make friends. And I feel like I put myself in places to make friends, but I just never really resonated with anyone. And I think a part of that was because it wasn't the type of people that I really wanted to be friends with. You know, I didn't really connect with them on a deeper level. I would only be like surface level friends with them. And now people come to my events and I'll see them like 2 weeks later hanging out on Instagram. And I'll just think that's so cool. This one guy came to one of my events. It was his first day. He came from London and he came to my event like straight away. He didn't know anyone here, but throughout the summer, everyone that he's been hanging out with has been either someone from that event or somebody that he met through someone from that event. And I just think that's so cool that something I get to host can create friendships for other people. And I just think the younger me would have really appreciated that event, so I just moved with that. And the thing that really got me to start doing it is I would go to like run clubs, but I would be like friends with people, but not really like past that surface level friendship. Like I wouldn't really know too much about them. I would know what they do for work, but I wouldn't know why they do it. And at my events, you kind of get to dive deeper with the questions that I have people answer with each other. And it's just like the community is like everything. If you have a good community backing you, then I feel like you can get anywhere you want. And the connection just matters a lot again because I feel like my younger self would have loved it. The one that was starting college and didn't really have a lot of friends, he would have loved that. Do you think there's something you're missing that you're trying to create? Yeah, I'd say that like through the events, I was missing like being close to people, I guess. So the events kind of helped that. And also just being super present. And like a lot of the events, everyone's always like recording content and stuff like that. But at my event, everyone's just like actually present. And I think that's missing in my life. Like I'm not as present as I'd like to be, like I said earlier. So doing things like this allows me to be present. Having interviews with people, I'm fully present with what that person's saying. So doing all those things, I think, kind of helps me become more present in my own life as well. Yeah, is it great? What has trying things before you have yourself figured out taught you? Oh, I love this. My main goal on my page, on my personal page, is to just try. And I try to show that by documenting the things that I do, the people that I get to meet. And if it's taught me one thing, it's that for somebody to say they figured it out or to say you're going to figure it out is completely BS. It doesn't really, you never really figure it out unless you do the thing, right? You're never gonna figure out how to make content unless you start creating content and the first few pieces suck. You're never gonna really figure out how college life works unless you go through it and see for yourself. So if there's one thing that trying things has taught me is that the act of doing is life's greatest teacher. The more you do things, the more life will teach you what the outcome of those things are, and if you like those things that you do or if you don't like it, but you never really figure that out unless you go and do it for yourself. Everyone can tell you a bunch of things, but nobody has the unique life that you have, and what makes you happy and all that stuff. So yeah, trying things before you have yourself figured out, it's just taught me that you just got to do things, and from that you'll figure it out. Do you think we put too much pressure on ourselves to know who we are before we start living? 100%. I felt like even right now, um, like I was trying to figure out why I can't make content when I'm in Houston, when I'm away for at home, and I'm like, well, when I figure that out, and like when I figure that out, then I can start living, creating content, being around with my family. But the reality is like there's not a lot of pressure, and for you to say that you'll start living once that pressure gets away, it's like, okay, well, if 99% of your life is you figuring it out and 1% is when you actually figure it out, then would you just want to live that 1%? Probably not. So I do think we do. And the issue is that people don't want to be lost within themselves because that reveals so many insecurities, so many things that they're scared of. And because of that, there's so much pressure that we need to figure everything out and know who we are. But the reality is, like, there's no pressure. You should just be able to live, and then from that, you figure it out. So it's not like you should figure it out before you start living. It's start living so that you can figure it out. That's a great one. If you, if your younger self was here with us right now, what would you say to him? I've thought about this a lot. I'm gonna answer this in like two different ways. If the version of me that was starting college was sitting right next to me, he has about 10 days till he starts college, and I would tell him that everyone's gonna tell you that you're gonna figure it out. You're gonna get into that major. You're gonna find your community. You're gonna be comfortable with leaving home. Everyone's gonna tell you that it's gonna be okay. But the reality is it's not. It's gonna be hard. You're not gonna get into the business school. You're not really ever gonna be comfortable with leaving your family. You're not gonna really find your friends fully until the second semester. But with everything not working out the way that you wanted it to, it's gonna work out in ways that are way better for you. You're gonna start creating content. You're gonna meet people who are amazing, and those are slowly gonna be your friends through content, not through school. You're gonna be uncomfortable being away from home, but that's only because you have a family that you actually care for. A lot of people are so happy to be away from their family. So just understand that and be happy for that. You're not gonna get into the major that you wanted, but it's fine because things are gonna work out way better for you afterwards. So I guess I'll just tell him that a lot of people are going to tell you it's going to be okay, and it might not be, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work out the way that it's going to be way better for you. You just have to keep living and just have fun through the whole journey. You know, it's going to be rough, but that's what makes it. And like for the things that you want to do with life, you wouldn't necessarily want it to be easy. And to my young self, like 10 years old, the kid that was just on video games playing Fortnite with his friends, I just tell him to enjoy that time a little more and to enjoy when your siblings were all at home with you, because that's what really matters. Like, just be fully present where you are. And I guess it's also a message to myself right now that if I feel that way, telling the younger me, then older me is probably going to tell me the same thing right now, is to just enjoy all of this. You know, what is your vision for your future self? If he was here, what do you think he would say to you? The vision I have for my future self is that, first things first, my future self, he's gonna be a dad because I'm super family oriented. Um, did I say that right? Orientated, oriented. He's a dad who has successful businesses. Hopefully, a lot. Hopefully, he's still creating content, maybe podcast, longer form, and he's traveling the world with his family. Yeah, he's not necessarily doing things. He's not working. He's not doing all like a bunch of stuff so that he can have fun. He's just having fun, traveling, enjoying the moment, and then when he wants to work, he's working. He's doing the podcast, growing the business. Hopefully, it's on autopilot. But he's just like really being there and making an impact, and he's already kind of left an impact. Like Human Archive has done great. Um, he's impacted the world on a and allowed them to know that everyone's human, and for people to try. Like that's my biggest thing on my main page, is to just try. So hopefully he's left the impact and he gets to see that through other people trying and being like, yo, like I did this because of you, and like he's having these conversations with people and he just feels great because he knows that people are trying because of him. Like that's the impact he left. And if he was here, what do you think he would say to you? It's really funny because what I think he would say to me is what I need to know, but it's like so hard to actually like act on it. You know, like a lot of times people say like you can give advice to somebody, but sometimes you need that advice the most. I think he would just tell me to slow down and enjoy this moment because like one thing I get so caught up on is like I need to do more, but like at the same time I forget that I'm 19 and that there is a lot of time and I'm allowed to just enjoy the process. I think one thing I'm not able to do much is also to be proud of myself. Um, Evan actually told me this the other day when I did my event. He was like, he texted me, he's like, be proud of yourself. And I was like, yeah, man, like I really need to like just be proud of like the little things that I'm doing. Um, so I think he would tell me that is like be a little more proud of yourself and be more present. Just be there. Don't worry too much about what's gonna happen. Don't worry too much about what was. Just be where you are. I think that's what you would say. What is the biggest lesson that life is teaching you right now? I'd say there's like a few, but if the biggest one would probably be what Michael told me of like don't get so caught up trying to build the life that you want for yourself that you forget to live the one that you have right now. And I guess it's just kind of teaching me that because the whole summer all I wanted to do was create more content and I wasn't really doing as much as I thought I should. But that's because I was just spending time with my family and that's not wasted time. You know, that is as important as building your future. So I guess it's just teaching me that to just enjoy what you have right now. Future figures itself out, but just live in the exact moment that you are right now. That's the biggest lesson that life is teaching me right now. What are you learning to love about yourself? Great question. I don't think I've ever thought about this. I was having a talk with my friend literally last night about like I have so many things in my head. Like I want to do this, I want to do that. I look back on things, I look forward to things. And it's just like my mind is like racing a lot. And I guess like I was like thinking of that as like a bad thing that there's a lot of things that I want to do, a lot of things that I think about. And I was like, it's just my mind working. You know, it's just doing what it's supposed to. And there are times where I wish I could just shut it off and just be fully present. But I guess I'm just learning to love that my mind works a lot and it's constantly thinking about what could I do better? How could I make my event better, my next event better than the last? How could I make the next interview better? So I guess just learning to love that and not kind of push that away. Because I think me pushing that away has been what's not allowed me to be present. So if I can just fully learn to love that my mind does race a lot, there are a lot of things that go on, I can be more present, you know? So not push it away. So yeah, learning to love that. How has it felt to be seen in this way today? This was amazing because like this is kind of what I do, but on like a way better level. Like we actually had a full conversation. Um, so it felt nice to be like on the other end of this, you know? It was great. Biggest takeaway from our time together. The biggest takeaway I'd say being here has made me want to do something like this even more. Like turn my thing into like a podcast style thing. Um, have longer conversations with people because even though I felt like I started Human Archive as a way to get past that surface level, now I want more. Like I want to actually talk to the person about like more of their life, not just like that one question and one story. So I'd say like the takeaway is like I'm super inspired from what you're doing and want to do something similar. Any final thoughts? No, but I'd say if they're, I'm gonna send this to all my friends, and if they make it to this, and if anybody young is watching this, I just want them to know that be a little more present with what you're doing. Like it's okay to want to have a great life for yourself. It's okay to want to build things. But if I look back to the start of my journey when I didn't really know what was going on, I was just building. Those days were like really cool as well, right? And don't give your goals more attention than the fact that you get to chase them. Because once I reached some of the goals that I had set for myself this year, I was like, okay, what now? And then I looked back and I was like, the ability to chase those goals and have that freedom to follow what I want is what was important. So to the young people out there, don't ever forget that, like that you get to actually chase the goals. The goals isn't what matters. Once you reach it, you realize it wasn't what mattered. But to create a better life for yourself and actually do that process is what matters. So I'd say that to like all the young people out there. So just enjoy it because one day you wish you would have done it more. Thank you for being here, Header.